Dex's miraculous return. A Five Poppies resurrection changes everything on General Hospital. The shocking death of Dex Heller in December 2024 left General Hospital fans devastated, particularly those who had invested in his romantic storyline with Josslyn Joss Jacks. What viewers didn't expect was that this presumed tragedy would become the foundation for one of the most dramatic plot twists in recent Port Charles history. As current storylines unfold at the mysterious Five Poppies resort in Croatia, the impossible is about to become reality. Dex is alive, and his return will send shockwaves through everyone who mourned his loss. The Five Poppies Resort, a den of secrets. The Croatian Five Poppies Resort has become the epicenter of danger for multiple Port Charles residents. What appeared to be a luxury destination has revealed itself as something far more sinister, with Pascal serving as the resort's mysterious concierge who answers to an even more enigmatic boss. This shadowy figure has been orchestrating dangerous scientific research while keeping Dr. Britt Westburn captive, using her medical expertise under the threat of withholding her life-saving Huntington's disease medication. The resort's true nature as a front for illegal operations has drawn the attention of the WSB, leading to Josslyn's covert mission alongside her handler Vaughn. Their assignment seemed straightforward enough: conduct reconnaissance on the resort's activities. However, nothing at Five Poppies is as simple as it appears, and the young agents soon find themselves in mortal peril. Joss and Vaughn's deadly predicament. The mission that was supposed to be routine surveillance quickly deteriorated into a life-threatening situation. Pascal discovered their true identities, exposing their cover and leaving them vulnerable to the resort's dangerous operators. Trapped in the basement of the Five Poppies, Joss and Vaughn face interrogation from Pascal, who demands information about WSB Chief Jack Brennan's knowledge of the resort's operations. Their situation becomes increasingly desperate as Pascal grows frustrated with their inability to provide the intelligence he seeks. The truth is that Joss and Vaughn genuinely don't possess the detailed information Pascal believes they have, having not yet reported back to Brennan about their discoveries. This honest ignorance may prove to be their death sentence, as Pascal views their lack of cooperation as either defiance or proof that they're expendable assets. The young agent's predicament is compounded by the resort's isolated location and the powerful forces that control it. With limited means of communication and no immediate backup, they must rely on their training and each other to survive until help arrives. Jason's race against time. Jason Morgan's involvement in the Five Poppies crisis stems from his search for Britt Westburn, his former lover who was believed dead but has been secretly held at the resort. Initially traveling to Croatia under the false identity of John Moore, Jason's mission was focused solely on locating and rescuing Britt. However, the discovery that Josslyn, his goddaughter and the daughter of his closest friend Carly, is also trapped at the facility transforms his rescue operation into something far more urgent and personal. Anna Devane's warnings about the danger Josslyn faces catalyzed Jason into immediate action, despite having initially left the resort at Britt's insistence. Believing she had her reasons for staying away, Jason cannot ignore the threat to someone he considers family. His return journey to Five Poppies becomes a race against time, as he knows that every moment of delay could cost both women their lives. The impossible revelation. The most stunning moment comes when Dex makes his unexpected appearance at Five Poppies Resort. For months, everyone believed he had died from complications following a stabbing incident in Port Charles. The emotional devastation of his loss has been driving Josslyn's recent actions, from her grief-fueled decision to join the WSB to her complicated relationship with her handler Vaughn. Dex's survival and presence at the resort raises immediate questions about the circumstances of his supposed death. Was it an elaborate deception orchestrated by unknown forces? Has he been held captive all this time? Or did he stage his own death for reasons yet to be revealed? The appearance of someone presumed dead at a facility known for dangerous medical research suggests connections to experimental treatments or advanced medical interventions that could explain his survival. His timing couldn't be more critical, as his arrival coincides with the moment when Joss and Vaughn's lives hang in the balance. The battle against Pascal's forces. The confrontation at Five Poppies erupts into violence as Jason and the newly revealed Dex face off against Pascal's operatives. The mysterious boss's network has significant resources at their disposal, including armed personnel willing to eliminate anyone who threatens their operations. The resulting firefight becomes a deadly game of survival, with the protagonists outnumbered but not outmatched. Jason's legendary combat skills prove essential in the battle, but having Dex as an unexpected ally provides crucial support. Together, they fight through the resort's security forces while working to protect Joss and Vaughn from the crossfire. The reunion between Dex and Joss occurs in the midst of this chaos, leaving no time for explanations or emotional reconciliation. Dex's ultimate sacrifice. In the climactic moments of the confrontation, Dex proves that his feelings for Josslyn remain unchanged, despite the mysterious circumstances of his survival. When gunfire erupts around them, his protective instincts take over completely. Seeing a gunman take aim at Joss, Dex throws himself into the line of fire without hesitation, taking a bullet meant for the woman he loves. The sight of Dex collapsing from his wounds is devastating for Josslyn, who has just discovered that the person she grieved for months is alive, only to potentially lose him again immediately. The cruel irony of the situation, finding hope only to have it threatened again, creates an emotionally wrenching scene that will resonate throughout Port Charles. Despite the setback of Dex's injury, the combined efforts of Jason, Dex, and their allies ultimately prove successful in defeating Pascal's forces. The victory comes at a significant cost, but it represents a turning point in the battle against the mysterious organization operating from Five Poppies. The rush to save a life. With the immediate threat neutralized, the focus shifts to saving Dex's life. The same man who was presumed dead months ago now fights for survival once again, but this time with the full support of those who care about him. The rush to get him medical attention becomes another race against time, as his injuries are severe and immediate treatment is crucial. The journey to the hospital provides an opportunity for the first real conversations between the characters since Dex's shocking reappearance. Josslyn's emotional state, torn between relief at his survival and terror at potentially losing him again, creates a powerful dynamic that will influence her character development going forward. Implications for the future. Dex's return from the dead will have far-reaching consequences for multiple storylines throughout Port Charles. His survival raises questions about other presumed deaths and the reliability of medical pronouncements in a world where advanced technology and secret organizations operate behind the scenes. The revelation that he has been alive while Josslyn grieved his loss creates trust issues that will need to be addressed in their relationship. The defeat of Pascal's operation at Five Poppies likely represents just one victory in a larger war against the mysterious boss who has been orchestrating these dangerous activities. With Brit's freedom potentially secured and the resort's operations exposed, the focus may shift to identifying and confronting the mastermind behind the entire conspiracy. This dramatic resurrection story demonstrates General Hospital's ability to surprise its audience, while honoring the emotional investments viewers have made in these characters. The return of a beloved character under such extraordinary circumstances provides rich material for future episodes, as the cast grapples with the implications of Dex's survival and the secrets that his apparent death concealed. The Five Poppies crisis represents a turning point for multiple characters, from Josslyn's evolution as a WSB agent to Jason's continued role as Port Charles protector, while opening new chapters in the ongoing saga of love, loyalty, and survival that defines life in this fictional city. Next, we will dive into the gripping possibility that Cain could soon find himself confined to a wheelchair following a devastating paralysis. In the bustling world of Port Charles, where drama never takes a break, recent events have left fans buzzing about Cain's precarious health situation after a shocking shooting incident. Spoilers suggest that those two bullets lodged perilously close to his spine might spell long-term trouble. Imagine Drew, the resilient former Navy SEAL turned businessman, suddenly grappling with a life-altering injury that strips away his mobility. This isn't just a minor setback, it could reshape his entire existence, forcing him to navigate everyday tasks from a seated position. Picture him wheeling through the corridors of General Hospital, his once confident stride replaced by the hum of wheelchair tires on linoleum floors. The writers seem to have crafted this twist with intention, highlighting the bullet's proximity to his spinal cord as a deliberate clue, adding to the intrigue. Perhaps this stems from a vengeful plot tied to his complicated family ties or business rivalries, amplifying the emotional stakes for everyone involved. As Drew emerges from his unconscious state, the revelation of his condition could hit like a thunderbolt. Spoilers indicate he might wake up to discover a profound loss of movement in his lower body, turning simple actions like standing or walking into distant memories. This paralysis storyline opens doors to exploring Drew's inner strength as he confronts physical limitations that test his mental fortitude. Envision the hospital room scenes where doctors deliver the grim prognosis, explaining how the spinal damage has disrupted nerve signals, leading to temporary or even permanent immobility. To flesh this out, Drew could initially experience numbness and tingling sensations, evolving into full-blown frustration as he attempts to move his legs without success. His journey might include consultations with top neurologists in Port Charles, who outline a regimen of scans and tests to assess the extent of the injury. This development not only heightens the tension, but also weaves in opportunities for heartfelt interactions with loved ones, like Scout or Sam, who rally around him with support and hidden worries about his future independence. Of course, hope isn't entirely lost in this soap opera saga. Depending on the injury's severity, Drew's path to recovery could involve intensive physical therapy sessions filled with sweat, determination, and small victories. Think of him pushing through grueling exercises in a rehab center, perhaps with a dedicated therapist encouraging him to rebuild strength one muscle at a time. Pain management becomes a key element, with Drew battling chronic discomfort that affects his sleep and mood. To add depth, maybe he turns to alternative therapies like acupuncture or hydrotherapy, drawing on his resourceful nature to explore every avenue. This ordeal could humanize Drew, transforming him from a sometimes polarizing figure into one that garners genuine sympathy from both characters and viewers. His vulnerability might even spark unexpected alliances, such as a surprising bond with a fellow patient facing similar struggles, enriching the narrative with themes of resilience and community. Yet, in true General Hospital fashion, this sympathy could serve as a double-edged sword for Drew. Spoilers tease that he might leverage his wheelchair-bound status to his advantage, especially in his ongoing schemes and relationships. What if, after partial recovery, he chooses to feign continued paralysis to manipulate situations, like gaining an edge in custody battles or business negotiations? This deceptive layer adds a thrilling moral ambiguity, reminiscent of past Port Charles cons, but with a fresh twist. Imagine Drew wheeling into a high-stakes meeting, his apparent frailty disarming opponents while he secretly plots his next move. This could tie into his history of adaptability, harking back to his time in captivity abroad, where survival meant outsmarting adversaries. By inventing a scenario where Drew uses adaptive technology, like a high-tech wheelchair with voice controls, the story gains modern flair, showing how he turns disadvantage into strategic power. Delving deeper into recovery possibilities, Drew's connections could pave the way for groundbreaking medical interventions. Recall how he previously orchestrated an innovative surgery for Kai Taylor, showcasing his access to elite medical resources. This precedent sets the stage for Drew to pursue a cutting-edge procedure, perhaps involving experimental stem cell therapy or neural implants designed to repair spinal damage. To expand on this, envision a plot where he collaborates with international specialists, flying them into Port Charles under the radar to avoid prying eyes. This might even intersect with other tangled storylines, such as those involving Jen Sidwell, Professor Henry Dalton, and Britt Westburn. If Britt secures a revolutionary drug for her Huntington's disease, it could inspire a parallel miracle cure for Drew's paralysis, perhaps derived from the same shadowy research network. Adding an inventive element, maybe this cure involves a rare serum sourced from exotic locations, heightening the adventure with elements of global intrigue and ethical dilemmas. Furthermore, this potential leverage from a mysterious benefactor could complicate Drew's arc immensely. Spoilers hint that the entity behind these medical marvels is possibly an enigmatic boss. Pulling strings might use the cure as bait to ensnare Drew in larger schemes. Picture Drew receiving cryptic messages offering full mobility in exchange for covert favors, like infiltrating rival organizations or retrieving hidden artifacts. This control dynamic adds layers of suspense, forcing Drew to weigh his physical freedom against his principles. In an expanded view, it could link to broader Port Charles mysteries, perhaps involving corporate espionage or family secrets from the Quartermain lineage. By inventing a subplot where Drew discovers classified files during his recovery, the narrative gains momentum, revealing how his injury inadvertently uncovers deeper conspiracies. All in all, the looming threat of paralysis and wheelchair dependency looms large over Drew Cain, with those spine-adjacent bullets poised to deliver life-changing repercussions. Next, we will learn about the issue that has Port Charles on the edge of its collective seat bombshell possibility that Dr. Portia Robinson may soon discover she is carrying a child, whose paternity could ignite an explosive scandal. The commotion begins one humid August evening, seconds after Portia and Curtis Ashford share what they believe is a healing, back-on-track rendezvous. The reunion, framed by the soft glow of bedside monitors, feels almost faded, yet the tenderness barely has time to cool before Curtis storms out in frustration, over lingering mistrust. The moment the door clicks shut, fate plays its mischievous hand. Isaiah Gannon, the hospital's no-nonsense security chief, steps into Portia's office seeking comfort of his own. Stress turns to passion, lab coats hit the floor, and a confidential corner of General Hospital becomes the stage for an impulsive connection that nobody, even Portia, saw coming. Fast forward to the following week, and Portia can't shake a subtle nausea or the ticking clock in her mind. While reviewing patient charts, she notices a missed cycle marked in her personal calendar, triggering alarm bells that drown out the steady hum of hospital machinery. Medical knowledge is both a blessing and a curse. She recognizes every early pregnancy symptom as it lands: fatigue, heightened sense of smell, and a sudden aversion to her favorite blueberry muffins from the cafeteria. Yet denial is easier than confronting the truth, especially when that truth threatens to revive the very nightmare she once lived through with Trina Robinson's paternity saga. Portia's internal turmoil intensifies during a tense staff meeting. Sitting beside Co-Chief of Staff Terry Randolph, she absent-mindedly presses a hand to her abdomen. A sharp pang of guilt flashes across her face as she recalls how nearly 2 decades earlier, she misled both Trina and Curtis about another child's origins. Could destiny be handing her the same perilous deck twice? Her colleagues remain oblivious to her spiraling thoughts, but the viewers can almost hear the dramatic orchestral swell foreshadowing the storm that's brewing inside the hospital's polished walls. As speculation mounts, Portia decides to conduct a discreet blood test after hours, using the very lab she oversees. The test tube bearing her initials becomes a symbol of secrets kept and secrets about to burst free. All she needs is one discreet technician, a favor she secures effortlessly thanks to her sterling reputation and occasional wielding of executive authority. She instructs the tech to log the sample under an anonymous study on hormonal variances, shielding herself from premature gossip. Waiting for the results, she drifts into daydreams. One paints a peaceful picture of raising a sibling for Trina, with Curtis by her side. The other spirals into a nightmare of legal battles and lost trust. If Isaiah is revealed to be the father. Meanwhile, Isaiah notices Portia's sudden distance. During a security protocol drill, he corners her in the stairwell, ironically the very location where Port Charles rumors often echo longest. He asks whether their office tryst meant anything beyond fleeting comfort. Portia's guarded eyes and trembling hands tell him plenty, yet she refuses to verbalize the storm in her heart. Isaiah, sensing more than professional tension, offers unwavering support should complications arise. His words are sincere, but in Portia's ears they register as one more variable in an already impossible equation. Across town, Curtis retreats to Charlie's pub, nursing a bourbon while confiding in Marshall Ashford about the lingering doubts plaguing his marriage. Curtis admits he still loves Portia yet feels perpetually on the cusp of another betrayal. Marshall, ever the sage, warns his son that secrets left unspoken have a way of detonating at the worst possible moment, an omen that resonates when Curtis later overhears a snippet of hallway conversation about an unexpected pregnancy in the executive wing. The color drains from his face, and viewers can practically see the puzzle pieces rearranging behind his eyes. Back at General Hospital, the lab results finally arrive. Portia is unequivocally pregnant. The sight of the positive confirmation sends her stomach lurching harder than morning sickness ever could. Immediately her pragmatic, ethically gray side surfaces. She runs hypothetical spreadsheets in her min timelines, conception windows, DNA probabilities. The data suggests a narrow margin that could swing paternity toward either man. That's when the dangerous idea slithers in. She could quietly alter any paper trail, manipulate a future paternity test, and present Curtis as the indisputable father. After all, as co-chief of staff, she possesses the master key to the hospital's electronic records and has performed minor corrections before. Determined to keep control, Portia drafts a plan worthy of a cybercrime thriller. She'll schedule a CVS chorionic villus sampling under an alias, route the results to a secure server only she and a trusted IT specialist can access, then scrub the chain of custody. Should questions arise, she can lean on hospital bureaucracy, citing privacy regulations and clerical error. Yet each keystroke adds a new layer of guilt. Flashes of Trina discovering past lies haunt her like ghostly security cam footage, looping in her mind. Elsewhere, Trina senses tension crackling between her mother and Curtis. She confides in Josslyn Jax that the same sixth sense that alerted her years ago is tingling again. Trina vows to remain vigilant, determined not to let history repeat itself unchallenged. Her subtle investigation sword phone calls. Half-read medical folders start stacking clues faster than Portia can erase them. One misplaced appointment reminder in Portia's purse becomes Trina's smoking gun, setting up a potential mother-daughter confrontation heavy with emotional collateral. Meanwhile, hospital politics threaten to expose Portia's secret from an entirely different angle. A routine software audit initiated by an ambitious board member, Dr. Leela McCormick, flags unauthorized access to sensitive maternity files. Leela, eager to prove her mettle, digs deeper, unaware that the digital fingerprints she's tracing belong to her own co-chief. Every dramatic click on Lila's laptop edges the storyline closer to detonating, intertwining corporate ambition with personal catastrophe. Amid this turmoil, Isaiah finds himself pulled into a separate crisis, a wave of counterfeit painkillers, infiltrating Port Charles. His security team's investigation requires cooperation from the medical staff, bringing him and Portia into prolonged proximity. During a late-night evidence review, he notices Portia wincing from an early pregnancy cramp. The realization dawns. His gaze drops instinctively to her abdomen before meeting her eyes with a silent question. Portia's parted lips signal neither confirmation nor denial, leaving Isaiah to grapple with possibilities as he resumes the manhunt for drug traffickers. Now with potential fatherhood lingering at the back of his mind, Curtis, driven by a gnawing intuition, schedules an impromptu lunch with Portia. Over unsipped coffee, he mentions the hallway gossip about an executive wing pregnancy. Portia's spoon clatters against her saucer, betraying her nerves. She recovers quickly, fabricating a story about a grant application tracking prenatal outcomes for high-stress professionals. Curtis nods, unconvinced but unwilling to press in public. His silence, thick with suspicion, sets the stage for future fireworks when undeniable proof surfaces. In one final twist, Portia receives an anonymous text that reads, "Secrets Cost Lives Sires is about to go public." The message is accompanied by a grainy photo of her tampering with the laboratory server. Panic tightens around her throat as she realizes someone inside General Hospital has been watching. Could it be a disgruntled resident, a curious janitor, or worse, a Selena Wu, leveraging inside information for criminal leverage? The threat looms like a ticking time bomb, ready to turn a personal crisis into a public scandal with professional ruin attached. With every passing episode, Portia's options narrow while the unborn child grows proof of the night everything changed. Whether she chooses transparency, deceit, or some perilous middle ground, Portia Robinson stands on a precipice that could redefine relationships across Port Charles. Curtis's yearning for honesty, Isaiah's newfound resolve, Trina's unrelenting quest for truth, and the hospital's tightening compliance net all converge toward an inevitable reckoning. Viewers should brace themselves. The paternity mystery poised to erupt isn't merely about a DNA test. It's a catalyst that will ripple through friendships, romances, and the very credibility of the hospital's leadership. Stay tuned, because as soon as that first prenatal ultrasound appears on screen, Port Charles will never be the same, and neither will the lives of everyone orbiting Dr. Portia Robinson's carefully constructed, dangerously fragile world.